Leo, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol. This is going to be a general reading for you, and there's no date on the reading. I trust that when it comes into your feed, it was meant for you. I've had a number of new subscribers on my channel, and I also know that maybe some of you aren't aware of my background and why I actually started my tarot channel in the first place. So when I started my tarot channel, I always wanted my channel to be something that was healing and that would help my viewers go on their own personal journey, their own healing journey to get back to their authentic self. I myself have complex trauma, and I am a survivor of sexual abuse and trafficking in my own family. And through the last almost 8 years that I've been healing intensively, healing my own shadow, healing everything that I've repressed, all my memories from childhood, they're all repressed. And I've really come to find out how powerful anger is in our life, how powerful of an emotion it is if you can understand how it works in your own life. For me, anger has been an emotion that I have used in a very ungrounded way before my intensive therapy. I am a retired teacher of 30 years in Canada, and I also have 3 adult children that I've raised, and I used my anger quite a bit in both of those situations. But it wasn't a grounded anger, it was a very ungrounded anger. And I've come to learn that when you repress your anger, when you push it down, it spills out over, around people that are safe to you. And unfortunately, they're the ones that we hurt the most. And the reason why I suppressed my anger was because I was taught by my abusers in my life to not use my anger. And I was actually shown in a number of ways what would happen to me if I used my anger. And so I had this incredible fear around ever using my anger. And I was taught to put it away and to never, ever take it out. And so it was definitely an emotion that was repressed in me. It was very ungrounded. And after when you do rage and you have these explosions, you can't understand where it's coming from because you just know it's not you. And so I had to learn in my intensive therapy to use my anger again. It was not something I wanted to touch because I was absolutely petrified to use it, because I know deep down what was going to happen to me if I tried to use it. And so as I worked through a lot of my memories, and I continue to work through my memories, I had to incorporate anger at the people that hurt me. And I did it through my journaling, and that's how I got to my anger, was through my journaling. And that's how I released my grounded anger, so that my own anger is no longer in a place where I'm going to rage at people. I just know that because I've grounded my anger. And so this reading is really a reading for you to learn to start to recognize what pattern or situation is creating anger in your own life right now. And a lot of times we're not aware of it, but we just know that, there might be this anger brewing underneath. And sometimes we don't even think we have anger, and it continues to spill out on other people. And that will really definitely tell us that we have some ungrounded anger. I want to look at how your own ungrounded anger is manifesting in your life, in your daily life, how you're seeing it. And that'll be really important for me to bring awareness to that for you. And then I want to look at, what are you afraid of will happen if you express your anger? And finally, I'm going to look at how you can begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way. So I'm going to ask for some advice from the tarot, and then I'll give you a little bit of my own advice at the end. I might give you a playlist from my other channel, Carol Cares, where I've put out some information on anger. I have some excellent videos that I've put out, and so you can take a look at those to help you out. And so Leo, in today's reading, I'm going to be using the Tarot of the Abyss. And then I'm going to be clarifying it with the Tarot Vintage. And we're going to be doing a reading called Embrace Your Anger. So let's get started with your reading. I'm going to ask the tarot, first of all, to give me one card to show me what pattern or situation is creating anger in your life right now. So one card for that, please. Almost. I thought it was going to come out at the end. There we go. The Page of Cups in reverse. Now, how does your repressed or your ungrounded anger manifest itself in your daily life? How is it showing up? Your repressed anger. One card. How is it manifesting in your daily life? You have the Knight of Cups. What are you afraid will happen if you express this anger? One card. You have the Queen of Wands in reverse. And you have the Four of Pentacles. And finally, one last card before I pull my clarifiers. How can you begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way? One card for that, please. The Wise One, which is the Hierophant card. Love that card in this deck. And normally I also love it. Okay, so let's get some clarifiers, and I did pre-shuffle these cards before I came on. So can I have a couple cards for the Page of Cups, please? See how the vintage tarot is going to act for me for a clarifier today. We got one card, good, one more. Oh, we got three. Okay, so you have the Three of Wands in reverse. You have the High Priestess in reverse. And then you have the Four of Swords in reverse. So three reversals here. And I normally look at my reversals as, you know, being a real resistance to something. Something could be blocked. So it makes sense when you're talking about your anger. How about this Knight of Cups? A couple cards, please. Whoa, okay. It's really talking. You have this one coming. It's kind of a sideways one. We'll put it upwards. And then we got this one. Okay, so we have the Ten of Pentacles. The Knight of Swords in reverse. And the Four of Cups. And then, how about the Queen of Wands and the Four of Pentacles? Something's telling me to turn this around. I don't know why. Just said it wasn't the right way in my hand, and I was trying to ignore it. I was like, no, you need to listen. So Queen of Wands and the Four of Pentacles. Let's go. Couple clarifiers here. All right, that one's sticking out. So it's like, take me. You have the Seven of Cups. I'll leave that for now since we're going to have a bit. These are already three here, and yeah, I think I'm good for that. The Wise One. Otherwise, the reading goes on. Oh, here we go. So you have the Devil card in reverse. And then you have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. All right. So we got a reading here. Looks interesting. I guess that's a good word for it. Okay, so what pattern situation is creating anger in your life right now, Leo? We start off with the Page of Cups. And right off the bat, whenever this card comes up, and it's your first card in the reading, the Page of Cups, in reverse, but it's such a powerful card. I usually say, and I'll say it again, that this is probably the most important card in this reading, in that it's such a strong card, and I'm going to explain why. So there's some real anger that is brewing in your system. There's some real repressed anger that you're trying to keep down. And what's happening is you have this little part of you, and it's blocked right now because it's in reverse. But can you see all that water in the background that's almost going to come over on the side of the boat? The Page of Cups is a younger part of us. It's an inner child. My page in my deck represents our inner children. And in this particular card, it's the cup. It's the cup of emotion, the cup of love. This is this little part of you. It's called the love seeker. Everybody has a love seeker. It's the part of you that is seeking desperately for the love that they didn't get when they were younger. And so they can spend their entire life inviting, continuing to repeat patterns in their life where toxic people come into their life and they don't understand why. Their relationships, whether it's intimate partners, whether it's friends and colleagues at work, continues to just not work out for you. And kind of the same endings where you're left kind of, maybe people abandon you, people reject you. And this is this little part of you that needs to be healed, needs to be heard, needs to be listened to. It's a part of you that is a real chameleon. It will be the one that will change the way that they are so that people will just love you. You meet different people, new people in your life, and you change your personality. You become inauthentic because you're just trying to get the love from people. You'll search for that one person in your life that's going to come and save you, and there is nobody that's going to save you. And so I think there's a real anger, a brewing anger inside. It's like, why do I continue to invite these people in my life who continue to shit all over me? And I don't understand why these people are doing this to me. Why do I keep doing the same thing over and over again? It's because you have this little part that's unhealed in you, and that's going to really drive this whole reading right here, because this little part, and I know I'm spending a lot of time on it, but it's very important. This love seeker is petrified of being abandoned again, is petrified of rejection. It wanted that love so badly when it was younger, but it was all, there's a part of you that was rejected, that was maybe humiliated in your life when you tried to show your emotions, when you tried to show your anger. And so let's look at what's underneath some clarifiers and how this is really affecting your life, this part of you, this inner child, your love seeker that needs healing. Well, I think that you have the Three of Wands, first of all, and all these cards are in reverse here. Three of Wands talks about this individual that's looking out, ready, and they have a plan. They have a plan to take their life in this different direction. Have a plan to put yourself first. And the wand is a creative energy, and it's what takes us into a new direction. Like I said, you put yourself first, and it's something that you want to do for yourself. And so I'm seeing here that you're really lacking focus and direction in your life, because this particular part can slow us down incredibly. We get caught up in chasing that one person, and trying to find that one person that's going to fix us. And it really, really slows us down, and we can't seem to get a direction in our life, a new direction that we're just dying to get to, And a lot of us will just want that one person that's going to come on that horse and save us. And here's your High Priestess card, and it's in reverse. The High Priestess is, it represents our intuition. It's the first half of the feminine energy in the major arcana. And it talks about, look at this. She sits in the middle of these two poles right here, and there's a veil behind her. There are many people don't even know what their intuition is. It's our own inner guidance. It's our own inner knowing. and we can get past that veil. We are able to get to it, but we have to be in our body in order to, we have to be grounded in our body in order to reach our intuition and our inner knowing. Right now, you're very much, really lost, not really seeing a particular direction for you to go in, especially when you're very much in your love seeker, and it's a part of you that keeps you ungrounded and continuing to just seek that one person. And your inner knowing is where you get your answers from. It's a beautiful feminine quality that we all have. It's our intuition, but right now it's blocked, which makes sense because you're not in your body. You're very ungrounded right now. And then you, this Four of Swords comes in right here. Four of Swords in an upright position talks about, swords is our mental energy. Swords are, these things that spin in our head, these ideas, these mental thoughts, these opinions that we tell ourselves. And sometimes, we just need to kind of take a break from everything. We need to take a break and get still. Get really, really still so that we can ground ourselves and really get a sense of, where we're supposed to go, what we're supposed to do. But I can see here that stillness is not something that you're doing. And oftentimes, when our ego gets hold of us, when we get into that love seeker mode is what I call it, when we're chasing people, where we're in the wrong relationships and we're all caught up in the whole drama of that, it's really hard for us to even think that we need to get still and get grounded into our body. And so that's where you're sitting right now. Now, how does your repressed anger, this anger that's coming out, that you're repressing, there's some anger here. And that's why you are in your love seeker right now. And that's why you're continuing to go and spin and be caught up in all that drama, because you're blocking this anger. There's something here that you need, that's coming, and we're going to see how it's coming out sideways in you right now. And you have the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is a part of us. I call this my freedom fighter, and this is the part of you that has been struggling for a long time in your life it's like an adolescent part. It's that part, think of an adolescent who wants to be free from oppression, doesn't want to be told what to do. It's the part of you that wants to go towards your authentic self. And it's very interesting that this is kind of what's coming out, what's sitting here for you, because I think you're trying to get to your authentic self. There's a part of you that wants to get there, but there's just too much going on. And the Knight of Cups, this freedom fighter in particular, it has the cup in their hand. And so they have been wanting so long to have authentic relationships. And so I think that this part of you, this freedom fighter, is pulling you toward authenticity, because you've been wanting authentic relationships for so long. I mean, you're quite tired of it. I can see that, especially with your love seeker that's out, and because it's been fighting for so long, this part can also cause us to be angry, because it's been kind of pulling at you, going, listen, we need to go towards your authentic self. You need to get back into your body and start to move towards who you really are. And they can also be quite, if they're not angry, they can go towards their hopelessness. And maybe you're somebody that goes in and out of that as well. We can go back and forth. Anger and hopelessness are like two sides of the coin. We can flip back and forth in those two things. And so maybe you're somebody that does that, where you can sit in bouts of depression, and think, what's the point? Why bother? And I think underneath all of that, that freedom fighter that's trying to get you to get back to your authentic self, I think there's some real generational trauma that's coming up here right now. And I'm wondering if that is the cause of what's spilling out into all of your relationships right now, what's causing you to stay in that drama of that whole cycle of, in having these toxic people in your life all the time and not understanding and maybe rejecting you and abandoning you. Because this is a card that comes up, and it very much speaks of our lineage. It has, three different generations on the card. It has this Kabbalistic tree of life here, this formation of these pentacles, and each pentacle represents a node in the Kabbalistic tree of life, this formation here. It's from the Jewish culture, and it talks about getting back to our lineage and who we really are. And so I think there's a real call here for you to realize that there's some real generational trauma that you've inherited. That's got to do with, why this little love seeker and why this freedom fighter is really pulling you towards your authentic self and healing some of this generational trauma. Right underneath the Knight of Cups right here comes another Knight. So you have two Knights here that are sitting here, how it's manifesting in your life. I'm going to say that, exactly what I said about, being in the depression and the anger back and forth. This particular Knight, another freedom fighter, but it has the sword. It has this sort of authenticity. It's that Knight that's been pulling you, like I said, towards your authenticity, cutting through all the bullshit and getting to who you really are. What happened to you? There's a part of you that's been pulling at you for a long time, I think. And it's been pulling towards you and saying, it's time for you to get back to who you really are. And that, when we can be in those, that freedom fighter mode, that sometimes what happens is, if we're very much in that freedom fighter, our freedom fighters can also cut a lot of people out in our life and really ostracize ourselves sometimes. Just cut people out, isolate ourselves, say, you know what, and maybe that's how a lot of your relationships end, where you just kind of get fed up and you start cutting people out. Like, I'm done, I'm fed up, and maybe that's what you're doing, because there's some real pain that has to come out here. And it's got to begin with your anger. It's repressed, and so it's wanting to come out. But I think you've kind of, because there's just so much. I'm going to say that there's just a lot of emotions here that are very much stirring in you with this very powerful emotions. I'm feeling you've got your freedom fighters that are pulling you in one direction, wanting to be free, wanting you to run. I don't know if you have some leg problems. I know with me, if I know I'm feeling like I need to run, I'll often get like my restless leg syndrome at night. And I've had that before quite a bit because of me just wanting to run. And this particular card, the Four of Cups, talks about this individual that has put their Three of Cups, these three big emotions, in front of them. And it's like their emotional life where they've kind of closed themselves off. You can see, them crossing their arms, and there's like, I'm just shut down. I've had enough. But then the universe is kind of going, well, no, here's another offer right here. Here's another gift. Here's a cup. Are you willing to go deeper? Are you willing to feel again? And it's like, no, I've had enough. And so I'm thinking you're pretty much, very shut down with your emotions. And that's why, if you're sitting in this depression, this state of hopelessness where you can go in and out of, it is very much, believe it or not, something that will mask, that will almost, like, if we can sit in that. For me, that was my go-to all the time. When I knew, I didn't know it always, I learned that I had anger that was sitting behind my depression. It was easier for me to go to my hopelessness and my depression and sit on the couch and not deal with stuff than even touch my anger. That was how scared I was to even go there. And so that could be your situation. And so what are you afraid will happen to you if you express your anger? If you actually decide, to get at this anger and start to heal it and start to try to, in a very grounded way, try to express your anger? What's the fear behind it? Well, you have the Queen of Wands in reverse. For sure, the Queen of Wands is the feminine side of us. And we talked about, you have the High Priestess. So you have two feminine cards here. And the Queen represents the feminine side to us. And we have two sides. We have a feminine and a masculine side. It has nothing to do with your gender. She's the Queen with the wand. She is the Queen that represents creativity, authenticity, knowing what direction to go into. And, you know, when this feminine side is blocked, because she's in reverse here, it very much, your direction is blocked. You're not really seeing, because you're not in your body. This Queen lives in her body. She knows what direction she's supposed to go into because she lives from her emotions, and she trusts her intuition when she's in her body. She has access to her inner knowing. But I think what's happening is you're very afraid of going in a certain direction, of feeling your anger, very much fear of it. She's blocked. And this Four of Pentacles explains everything. And he talks about it at the beginning with your little love seeker. Look how frightened this individual is behind his pentacle. He's hiding himself. He's blocking his heart. He's very much, this is called the Miser card. It's an individual that, the pentacle has everything to do with our self-worth, has everything to do with our body being grounded, our material world. It has everything to do with our material attachments that we hold on to. There is very much a fear in your part, if you go to this anger, that you're going to be abandoned. And that is part of probably your generational trauma here. There's some real attachment issues, I think, that are going to come out when you were younger. Because when we were younger and we tried to express our authentic self when we were young, we were humiliated or rejected, told to put those emotions away. And so our authentic self was rejected. And I feel here that you are petrified that you are going to be abandoned again. You're going to be, there's going to be people that are not going to approve of you using your anger because they're not used to it. Maybe you've been someone that people, well, have walked all over and shit on you all your life. And imagine all of a sudden you're going to start to get angry and people are going to go like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And so there's this real fear. There's real fear on your part. And right underneath it came the clarifier, which is the Seven of Cups, that explains everything here about where this fear is coming from. The Seven of Cups talks about this individual, and cups again are your emotions, right? But this individual is looking at this, and look at all these weird things that are coming out of these cups. And it's almost like, and you have these clouds. This person is very much distracted. I call this my dissociation card. I think you're very much afraid that, there's a part of you that's very much afraid that if you go to this anger, it's going to completely take you over. Like completely, where it's almost like you're not going to be able to think anymore. You're going to become completely dissociated, completely distracted, not know what to go, not know what to do, not know. And so not only do you have this fear of attachment, this fear of disapproval, and this fear of abandonment, it's also going to, you're afraid it's going to just take over everything. And so how can you begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way? Well, this card doesn't want to come out. Picked it up and it flew out of my hand. It's the Wise One. It's the Hierophant card. What is this about? Well, look at this individual right here. It's this elder, maybe shaman figure that's sitting here, spewing out his wisdom to these people that are listening. And this is like the Hierophant card is all those things that you were told when you were younger about right and wrong, what's right and what's wrong. It's all about how you were wired. How was your brain wired? Your brain was wired to feel that if you expressed your anger, it was going to bring, this is what's going to happen to you. And right now it's like, it's time now to rewire your brain. It's time now to rewire this little love seeker and what it thinks it's going to happen to you. These freedom fighters that are pulling for you to go towards your authentic self, wanting freedom. And this card is saying, well, this is what needs to happen for you. It's time for you to start to rewire, undo all these things that you think about yourself that have happened to you. The Devil card comes in as a clarifier. The Devil card is very much, again, in an upright position. It talks about attachments, and you've already had this attachment card, this abandonment issue here. But I think what this one talks about is these are the things we're definitely attached to as an adult, and this helps us. These things help us numb out our pain. We can very much use attachments, or our addictions is what I call them. It's a healing journey. Let's get real here. I mean, this is in reverse. I have had and still fight with my addictions. I'm cross-addicted. I have, I have complex trauma. So throughout my life, I have gone through many different addictions in order to, numb out everything. And this is in reverse because I'm wondering here now, maybe you don't realize, and this is sometimes when this comes in reverse, it tells me that maybe you don't realize I know that people know what their addictions are. I'm quite aware of that, and I'm not in a position here to tell anybody to stop their addictions. But it's like when this comes in reverse, it's like I think there's a real big awareness that needs to happen on your part to start to say, okay, what am I using this? What am I using this for? What am I numbing here? What is it that I'm numbing? Like, what is it that I've been wired to believe about myself? And it's pretty painful. There are painful things here that I need to know that are connected with my anger for sure. But I'm numbing everything out here. And so then you have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse as a final card. In an upright position, the Nine of Pentacles speaks about this individual that's taken a lot of time to train this falcon. And falcon, I said it wrong maybe, I don't know. Falcon, and it's just been spending a lot of time on it and put a lot of energy into really committing themselves to it. And so this card comes out when it says, what are you willing to commit to right now? What is meaningful for you now? What do you want to do? What are you willing to commit to? Because when we started this out, you had this Three of Wands here, and I talked about, how you're just really looking for, you're lost, you're looking for a direction, maybe you're looking for a new direction here, and then you end with, what are you willing to commit to? Are you willing to commit to your healing journey? Are you willing to commit to your healing journey? There is generational trauma here. There is healing that needs to be done. And I know that when I got into my intensive healing almost 8 years ago, I knew I was in it for life. I'm still on it. I still get memories all the time. I'm still healing, and I always will be. Because that's what I'm committed to now. And so I'm going to leave you with a playlist on anger. And there's some beautiful, there's some good videos in there on anger. And there's also another one on journaling. And that's how I get my anger out. And that's how I get in touch with my Page of Cups, my little love seeker that needs to be heard. I teach you how to journal from your anger. And it's safe. And that's how I get at my anger. I journal, and I journal from the people that have hurt me and continue to hurt me. And that gets my anger out in a grounded way. And then I'll also leave you with the last video I did for you, which was Conquer Your Fears. And Leo, I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. This is the most difficult journey of your life to heal yourself, but it's the most important one. So take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye.